In the 1980s, New York, Sydney Biddle Barrows was known by a different name, the Mayflower Madam, a former fashion executive turned entrepreneur who ran one of Manhattan's most successful private escort services. But what's fascinating isn't the scandal, it's how she built a nearly identical business to her competitor, one that was literally across the street, yet dominated the market, attracted a higher-end clientele, and kept customers coming back. Uncensored Sales Strategies, co-authored with Dan Kennedy, is the no-fluff playbook she used, revealing the raw, seductive psychology behind why people really buy. And no, this book isn't about vice, it's about understanding desire, perception, and how to make your offer irresistible. In this video, I'll break down the 7 seductive strategies that let Barrows win over clients in one of the most competitive and emotionally charged markets in the world. Idea 1. Sell the experience, not the service. Barrows didn't just offer appointments, she crafted an atmosphere. From the way her receptionist answered the phone to the tone of voice used in follow-ups. Clients weren't paying for time. They were buying class, discretion, and fantasy. Key idea, it's not what you sell, it's how the buyer feels when they buy it. For instance, while the agency across the street promised similar services, Sydney's agency focused on elegance. Her women were trained on conversation, manners, and dress, not just appearance. This works because people don't buy logically, they buy emotionally and then justify it later. By elevating the experience, you elevate your price, your perception, and your power. Idea 2. Make every interaction part of the brand. Barrows trained her receptionist to speak in a way that was warm, classy, and in control, no matter how odd or urgent the request. Every detail, from voice tone to vocabulary, reinforced the image of exclusivity. Key idea, every touch point in your business either seduces or repels your customer. For instance, when a nervous first-time caller phoned in, he wasn't met with attitude. He was reassured, calmed, and made to feel like a VIP. That tiny moment, just a phone call, turned hesitation into loyalty. This works because consistency builds trust. When your entire brand feels seamless, your customer starts to believe you're the only one who can deliver what they want. Idea 3. Make the customer feel chosen. Here's a powerful twist. Instead of letting anyone book, Barrows flipped the script. Clients were vetted. Not everyone made the cut. Suddenly, her service wasn't just available, it was exclusive. Key idea. People want what they can't have, especially if they feel they've earned it. For example, Barrows' agency didn't just say yes to anyone. The intake process subtly made clients feel that they were being chosen, not the other way around. This technique works because when people feel they're gaining access to something selective, it boosts their ego, and once their ego is involved, they're emotionally invested and willing to pay more, stay longer, and refer others. Idea 4. Don't lower prices. Raise standards. Barrows never tried to undercut the competition. In fact, her prices were higher. But instead of defending the cost, she emphasized why it was worth it. The professionalism, safety, and atmosphere were unmatched. Key idea. Competing on price makes you look desperate. Competing on value makes you look essential. For instance, while the competitor charged less and promised the same surface benefits, clients still migrated to Barrows because the service felt polished, elevated, and more controlled. This works because people associate price with quality. And if you can raise the emotional standard of what you deliver, you give them a reason to pay a premium. Idea 5. Anticipate needs before they're spoken. One client forgot his reading glasses. The receptionist had a spare pair waiting. Another requested a specific type of drink. It was there next time. These weren't random perks. They were deliberate. Key idea. Anticipating customer desires creates loyalty that price can't touch. For instance, even though the core service was the same, Barrows built loyalty by remembering personal preferences, following up proactively, and tailoring experiences to the individual. This works because it makes the client feel known. And when someone feels known, they don't just come back. They brag about you. They feel like you get them, and that's nearly impossible to compete with. Idea 6. Use storytelling to build mystique. Barrows created a sense of intrigue, not by telling lies, but by controlling the narrative. Even her clients didn't know everything. There was always a layer of mystery. It felt exclusive, like being in a private club. Key idea: in marketing, telling less can make people want more. For instance, rather than bragging or being overt, she let satisfied clients whisper about the experience to friends, never revealing too much. That mystery turned into demand. This works because storytelling, especially when it leaves gaps, creates curiosity. Curiosity fuels engagement, and engagement is the first step toward action. Idea 7. Train your people like luxury hosts. Barrows didn't hire randomly. She trained each woman in etiquette, style, and discretion, even role-playing dinner conversations and cultural awareness. The goal wasn't just looks, it was poise under pressure. Key idea: your frontline people are the brand. Train them like your reputation depends on it, because it does. For instance, she had standards so high that even her competitors' clients noticed, and soon enough, they began switching over. Not because the product changed, but because the people felt different. This works because when customers interact with someone confident, polished, and attentive, it elevates the entire perception of your brand. It's not about the product anymore. It's about how it makes them feel. At its core, Uncensored Sales Strategies is a masterclass in seductive psychology. Sydney Biddle Barrows didn't run the biggest service or the cheapest. She simply understood people better. She knew that sales isn't just about persuading, it's about creating a moment that feels so right the buyer convinces themselves. And whether you're selling software, services, or high-stakes consulting, the real edge comes from how you make people feel. So take these lessons, clean them up, make them yours, and next time you sell, don't push, seduce. If this gave you a different lens on sales, hit that like button and subscribe to Ivan's Book Club for weekly book breakdowns that go deeper than just tactics. And in the comments, tell me, which of these 7 seduction principles are you ready to use in your next sale? See you next time.